Wow, look at that. Glad I checked that. All right, well, we're not cranking today. Well, guys, you know they say in the Bible, when a man finds a wife, they find a good thing. And that's what I found. Tell them what you're about to go get.
Oh, the tractor.
She's going to get the tractor so she can help me install the engine in that pure stock. That's a good woman.
That's one that says, can you help me? And I don't want any more fingers cut off.
All right, let's get this engine in. Okay, so fast forward 1 week, because that's just how life goes. And it's time to get serious. Now that we have the pure stock in here, I am falling behind because the season has already started. And the next race that I have should be in this car if all goes according to plan. And so, like I said, time to get serious. We've got the engine down in there. I appreciate Christy and Dad coming and helping me get that in there. It's just set in, but I do have 2 of the front motor mounts in. Unfortunately, Dad's shop is out of service right now. He's redoing the roof over the lift because of some roof issues. So I cannot use the lift at this moment. So I'm just gonna try to tackle everything from the bottom side, which means this thing's gotta go way up. And so in order to get this to-do list for the pure stock done, I've gotta get serious and get to work. So now that I've got the motor in, I can pretty much get up under the bottom, get the cross member bar on, make sure our drive shaft's gonna have plenty of clearance, get the shifter done, get the wiring done, get the radiator back in, and hopefully bust this thing off. I said I wanted to do a lot of this stuff in the last video, and I didn't do it, but that's just how YouTube life goes. Sometimes you film as much as you can, hoping and praying for the best as much as you can get done in a video, but sometimes it don't work out. So for right now, I'm gonna get this thing jacked up and hopefully start getting this cross member on and getting a drive shaft in. So let's go. You guys know how my jacking experience is. I gotta get a bigger jack. At least my hand wasn't near it. I gotta figure out a better jacking system here. I need to get me a pit lift. Let's go a little bit higher and we'll be there. Move to the front. All right, let's get these tires off. All right, so we're gonna get these tires off. I wanna show you guys. You guys don't forget, we still have our Rogus True Impact wrench right here. They sponsor this gun, still using it to this day. On the same battery, 3 battery life. So this product was sent to us, still amazing. I still absolutely love it. So you guys go check it out. The link to this is in the description. We still say thanks to Rogus Tree for providing these. No problem. Okay, so I got it up as high as I can. I got my tires under it, and I got some just extra blocks of wood there to get it up as high as possible. I did a good old shake test. She's good. And like I said, I've got all my tires on all four corners as a safety measure. But now I can get my little creeper along there, no problem. So I'm gonna get us some light, and then we're gonna get under there and see if we can get this transmission mount put in. And if we get that put in, then we can tighten these bolts up here and the engine will be 100%. Then we can start throwing everything else on. So let me get some light and we're gonna see if we can get that thing put in. Okay, so we've got some light under the car, thanks to our partners at On For You. But unfortunately, I've got to go by Lowe's tomorrow because I guess whenever I had this car down at my dad's shop and we pushed it or drove it back down here, I had all of my hardware sitting in the passenger side and there's holes in the floor over there, and I reckon all my bolts went a-flying because I only found one for my cross mount under the bottom. So we're gonna call it a night here. I gotta get ready to go back to work, but I'm gonna go by Lowe's tomorrow, get the right grade A bolts, and then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll try to start actually getting some work done. So see y'all then. Okay, so it's another night, the next night actually, and I am finally officially off work for the next 7 days. So time to get some work done. So we've got the car jacked up. I went and got the right bolts, which everything is right there. So I've got all my correct bolts to put the cross member in. I already had a blowout. I went to roll under there and my creeper broke. So there's another thing broke, but I've only got 5 wheels out of the 6 now, but that's okay. So I've got my On For You light back on. We're gonna get back under here and get that cross member piece in and try to get this drive shaft shoved up in here. So let's get this out first. I know this goes like that, and then that's got to go up over that. So I already know this thing's got to go way up. Let's see if I can get this. I'm gonna need the jack for sure. So let's get the jack. Just gotta get this up just a little bit. There we go. All right, transmission is in. I still have great room for my shifter there. So that cleared where I built my shifter bracket right here. So now I know exactly where to put all my shifting and stuff. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to see if I can get the drive shaft put back in. Once we get that done, then I'll be able to hook up my shifter and hook up my clutch pedal. So let's see if we can get that drive shaft put in. All right. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. think, if I remember correctly, I went all the way like this, and then it fit up in there. Yep. Like a glove. Look at that. Finally something that went right in. I guess I probably shouldn't speak too soon, huh? Until I get everything in. Okay, so now that we have all that done, we gotta come right here and hook this clutch pedal up. Get it pulled back up in here. And I remember whenever I took this thing off, I told myself I needed to put a big old washer back in here because it wasn't tightening down right. There we go. Now that I have the clutch hooked up, which was that rod right there, now it is time to install my shift handle. So I've got the rods right here. Now that I got the transmission and all in, I can go under there and put these in. So I've got my Carter key and Carter pin and bolt, and so everything's ready here. So I'm gonna get up under there, see if I can get these aligned and put in. So the bad news is that these do not work. And so with the way they were set up on that old system and how I've got these new rods, one of these is too short and the other one is too long. And if I swap them around, this one needs to be able to swivel like this one does. See how that swivels? And it doesn't. So in order for me to use these, I was gonna have to redo all of them and rig them all up. So I don't wanna do that. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna go to Lowe's tomorrow and get some all thread and get the right rods. And I'm going to make my own adjustable brackets so that I can get rid of these. And I may still use some of these ends right here to weld my all thread and all onto, or weld to my all thread to make them adjustable. And I may still use that little thing there if I can find the right all thread. But I'm going to end up making my own shifter things that are almost like adjustable hams. So we'll do that later. So let's skip to the next thing. So now that we've got everything done and we're moving on, I went ahead and hooked up the power steering pump lines. So that's done. And now we're moving on to the not so fun thing, which is getting these headers in. So these headers have to drop in from the bottom of the car. It was a lot easier when we had this thing on the lift, but unfortunately, like I've already mentioned, the lift is out of service, and this is where we're at right now. So I had to pull all the plugs out and obviously the studs, and I've already fixed the headers. And so we're gonna try to get them back in here and at least set down in here maybe for tonight. I think I'm gonna go get some new gaskets tomorrow. But if I can get the headers just set in here, then I can also get the starter put on and we'll be good to go. I can also put the water pump in. So I'm going to see if I can get this thing jacked up enough safely to where we can get at least the headers set up in there and then maybe get the starter put on. So the car has to go way up for these headers to angle down in there. So we'll see if we can get this safely up. See if that's enough. was it on this side. Put 2 bolts in here. Just like that. So we're 1 for 1, or 1 for 2. See if this one will go in now. Man, look at that. Just being patient did the trick. All right. They're both in. Look how smooth. No cuts. No edit. Perfect. All right, now for the fun part, which is get the starter back on. I probably won't film that. I'm going to set the car back down on the jack stand so that I'm not doing anything crazy, and I know that I can get under it safely, and I'll get the starter on and show you guys that process. So we'll be right back. So everything's going in pretty smoothly. I got the starter in. You can see it's right there. The headers are sitting here just waiting on the new gaskets that I'm going to go get tomorrow. I've got both sides completely done. So headers are in both sides, and now I'm about to install the fuel pump. Power steering's already in. This canister's already in. So everything's looking pretty good. I have to say, it's just very peaceful out here tonight. The weather outside is really calm. Everything's just going really good. I didn't struggle at all with the starter. It went right on. Headers went right in. All the header bolts went in. Plugs are back in. So I'm happy about this. The only thing I can think of, which is the reason why everything's going so smooth, is Christy's probably in there praying her heart out that nothing happens and I don't get hurt. For those of you who know me enough, you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just very peaceful out here. So I'm going to keep chipping away at this, try to get the fuel system put in and the starter wire hooked up and maybe the carb on. And then everything up front should be close to where I can set this thing back down on the ground and start the wiring harness and get all of the stuff built for the radiator. And then there's a possibility, man, if I get some gas tomorrow, or not gas, get some power hooked up to this thing tomorrow, we may be able to bust this thing off and see if it rattles the ground. So I'm gonna have to pivot for a second. This gasket is bad. I've got to get a new one for the fuel pump. I forgot I had already bought new gaskets for the headers. So I went ahead and mounted the headers. So both headers are hard mounted, or tightened up. But how did you guys let me do this? Does anybody see a problem here? Best guesses. What can y'all see? Somehow, I must be getting tired because I put the starter on upside down. You can't see it in there, but yeah, it's upside down. So that's why it went on so easy. That's how you know you're getting tired. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call it a night. It is 10:59 and I worked 12 hours today, but I wanted to come out here and get as much done as possible. So I've got to go get some a gasket for the water or the fuel pump tomorrow. And then I've got to get some oil and a few more miscellaneous things. And hopefully, fingers crossed, here soon, we'll be busting this thing off. So I'll see you guys in the morning. Okay, so it's the next night. Got me some good rest. And I want to show you guys what I have done here. I told you guys last night I got the starter on backwards. Well, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got it flipped around. So it looks way more gooder. So it's up the right way. I did not have to take this header off, which was good. I also got the fuel pump gasket, so I went and bought it today. Got a brand new gasket there and got that on. So that is finished. But the main thing that I want to show you guys, which is I'm very proud of, is the shifter is in. And so I actually worked on this a little bit today and built some stuff. I went to Tractor Supply and I told you guys that I was going to build my own shift linkages. So yes, I could have bought these, which is totally fine, and I could have ordered them, but I wouldn't have had them tonight. And so what I ended up doing, as you can see here, is I went and got some all thread, and then I went and got these little like castle nut looking things, or not castle nuts, I don't know what they're called, but they're threaded on the inside. And so they thread on this all thread right here. And then I took a bolt, if it'll focus, there you go. I took a bolt and welded the fire out of it really strong all the way around, and then cut it down and then capped it off on the end right there. And so all of these linkages are adjustable. So you can see I can adjust them to whatever I need them to be. So if I ever need to shorten this thing, so I did both sides on there. They don't look pretty, but they're not ever gonna be seen. They're just made to be strong. And so them bolts are not going anywhere. I beat on them and beat on them and beat on them, so they are solid. But that's what it looks like, and so it worked out good. And then on this one, so I could not use this on this same side as this because of the way the clearance is between them two handles down on the bottom. I could not get two of these beside each other or they were gonna hit like that. So what I had to do is I had to use a flat side of one of these. So I just glob welded it really good and made sure my heat was real hot. And I got that really, really good. And so now when these two go beside each other, you can see that little notch. It fits perfectly and I have plenty of clearance. And then I just built me another one of these adjustments down here as well. And then locked it with that so that it goes on. So I've already test fitted these. They work good. So I just got all the right lock nuts and washers on there. So I'll end up crawling back on there and putting that on down there and we'll be good to go, and I can cover all that and clean it up real good and we'll be all set. So I'm gonna get these put on, and then the last thing to do is to start running all of my new distributor cap. My wires, I'm gonna do them right and go under the header this time. And then once that's done, I can hook and put the carburetor on and then start the electrical work. So hopefully tomorrow for sure, I'm gonna get the battery charging and we're gonna bust this thing off tomorrow. So by the end of this video right now that you're watching, I'm hoping that this thing's cranking tomorrow. We may not have all the gauges and the tachometer and all that stuff, but at least we're gonna crank it. So let's get to work, see if I can get some of this done, and we'll come back and I'll show you what I finished. Ton of progress you can see that I have made. Carburetor is back on, throttle cable is in. Good to go there. I've got a brand new cap, rotor cap, and I went ahead and wired up all of my distributor wires. I did it the right way this time. So I've watched a YouTube video and seen that the last time I had this thing, I had all the wires running all right here and along this and all that. And I realized that was not right. So I did it the right way and ran everything back and down and back behind the transmission, or over the transmission bell housing and up under the headers on that side, so I don't have to worry about anything getting in the way. I believe I already showed you guys that I got the starter right. Yep, already got that done. And I got this on, so I'm about to hook the fuel line up, both this one and the main fuel line, which is over there somewhere. And then I will be able to start on the wiring. It's about 11:45. I'm getting tired again, but I do know that after I get this on, which is the fuel line, I should be good to go and just on the wiring and the radiator and stuff like that. And so I'm making good headway here. I'm gonna put the battery on charge and have it charging overnight, just so I know I have a fresh hot battery. And if everything goes according to plan, I'll put the oil in it, put the new oil filter, and get the radiator stabbed in here and all the wiring done tomorrow, which the wiring shouldn't take me too long. I'm gonna try to mock it up, make sure everything's good, and then make it look pretty. So crossing my fingers after I wake up tomorrow, or after I wake up tonight, and we get a fresh start in the morning, I'll be able to get the wiring knocked out and bust this baby off. So I'm gonna call it a night tonight and come back in the morning and see if we can get some engine fire. Okay, so it's the next morning. What are we gonna try to do today?
Swim in our
Swim in your pool? I'm talking about with the race car. Crank it up? All right, we're gonna try to crank it up. So I just got the new oil filter on and it is sitting right down there. And I'm taking this valve cover off now and I'm gonna add the oil. I gotta run to Lowe's real quick, but while I'm running into town, I'm going to put the oil in it. Wow, look at that. Glad I checked that. That's why you always check everything. Look at that baby. That ain't no good. I would have destroyed this thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and add the oil and then I'm going to pull both sides off and check everything so that you don't find that. Heck, that could have been like that when we were racing. Never know. Looks like that stud has come loose. Look at that. That ain't good at all. But I'm gonna get the oil down in here first. That way I can make sure I don't have any leaks up under the floor. So I'm gonna get that poured in. All right, well, we're not cranking today. We're probably not cranking for a while. One of the moments to where you try not to like get upset or frustrated, but it's really like nothing you really can do about it because you try so hard to be like truthful on the channel. You try so hard to not hide stuff so that people don't think you're dumb or are like, oh, look at that, more problems. But this is really something that I don't know how to fix or control from something happening. I mean, it's nothing I did. The engine just decided that it was gonna throw a curveball. So you guys saw, I just found a stud came loose. I guess it backed out. I don't know, who's to say, but you guys look what's no longer here. It has left the chat. So when I unscrewed that, you guys notice anything? Push rod's gone. So the push rod, it has fallen down inside the head or in the valley there. And whenever I got a light and looked down in there, I reckon whenever I flip this engine upside down to check that crank bearing, the lifter has also come up. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with now. Well, dug a little bit deeper into this rocker being off. I got Dad down here to help me. It turns out that the push rod had fallen down into the motor. So this rocker keeps backing out on us for some reason. I don't know if the Loctite didn't hold or what happened, but we went ahead and pulled the intake off. Dad's down here, like I said. The intake is off. We got the rocker arm and the lifter put back in, and I'm about to run and go get some new intake gaskets now that we had to take it off. And Dad's gonna do some surgery on this lifter and put more Loctite in that stud to see if he can get it fixed. Then we'll put everything back together. So we'll come back once we get everything back on. All right, guys, so it is time. Me and Dad got the intake put back on, got the distributor back in, got it temporarily wired. Come to find out, I opened up the wiring that I bought from Amazon, and it is the wrong gauge wire for me to build my wiring harness. So I had some old stuff just laying around. So me and Dad just temporarily hooked it up. All we are trying to do right now is see if this engine will crank. I'll end the video if it cranks. Crossing my fingers big time because I'm not sure what's gonna happen. We temporarily hooked up just the oil pressure gauge so that we can spin it over. We got wires going everywhere, but this video is getting long and I don't want to end this video without seeing if it'll at least spin over and crank. So here goes nothing. What do you think, Dad?
I think it should.
All right, hopefully it does because I gotta clean this shop up. Here goes nothing. Okay, so we got plenty of oil pressure. Dad put some gas in the bowl. Try it.
All right.
Yep. So we don't have the radiator hooked in yet, and we don't have all the fluids, but all we're wanting to do again is see if this thing will run. If it cranks up, just let it die or shut it right back off. Ignition on. All right, here we go. That's good news, right? Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Sure is shaking a lot though.
Yeah, it was shaking a little bit.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Could be the timing. It could be even worse. The flow could have needed to be balanced. Who knows? When you gave it a little bit of gas, it smoothed out.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't know, but it cranked.
Yep.
That's the
All right,
good
I
news.
gotta go build a force of them.
All right, Dad. Thank you for your help. There you have it, guys. You just saw it. It did crank. Cranked right up, which is amazing. Had plenty of oil pressure. So you guys see what kind of mess I have now. I've got wires everywhere. I've got stuff Jimmy rigged everywhere. So it's a mess, but we just fired it up. And I am pumped about that. So I'm going to try it one more time just to be on the safe side. And if it cranks right up, I'm going to shut it back off and we're going to call this a video. Just one quick pump. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah. All right. That's good news. So the pure stock runs again. At least what you saw is what it runs again. So I'm very excited about that. A lot of hard work. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous at first because when we found that valve missing or off and we had to pull that intake, scared me to death. Not even gonna lie, my heart sunk. And I'm actually not gonna lie, I did an outro to the video and I was like, I'm done. I'm not even gonna show them this. And then Dad showed up and he was like, Skylar, I know you've been working hard on it. Let's get this thing going. So we didn't give up, same day, and y'all just heard it crank. So there you have it. So now to start putting it back together, next video, I'm gonna get it to where it'll run and idle fine. I'm gonna investigate that shake just a little bit, make sure that we didn't mess up, get the front end put on it, get the radiator mounts built, get the hood back on, our body back on, the roof, get the door fixed and all that fun stuff. So very excited. For everybody who follows us on Facebook, I got our banner in. We did a announcement on our Facebook to where for $20 you could be on our trailer banner. And so I did end up getting that. It's in my truck. I'm gonna show you guys that in the next video. I'm excited about it because a lot of people did support us and I appreciate you guys in that way. But if you can't support us financially and you'd like to help us, please subscribe to our channel. That helps us a lot. And watching and sharing our videos does as well. So thank you guys for hanging out and sticking this one out with me. I know it's a lot of videos and a lot of work, but it takes me a lot of time to get the video filmed sometimes, especially with my work schedule and these 4 boys and my wife house projects, which I actually love to do. We just put the boys a pool in, so it's fun. All right, that's enough rambling. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Judah, come tell them. I know you like to do it. What do you want to tell them? Say like.
And make sure to like, subscribe.
Woohoo! Later.